Ooh, how's that for some better intro music? Oh, hi guys, it's Danny Doc coming back to you. Oh, it's probably been about a week since we last spoke, and man, was I getting some messages about those little chime things at the start and the end of the podcast. I was being asked questions like, is that you on a wee xylophone sitting at home? And I was just sitting here like, no, it's just an Apple ringtone that I changed into just being an intro tone. But anyway, I hope this one sort of sets the tone a little bit better. Welcome back, everyone. Well, what can I say? I've actually woken up with a really sore, right-hand side. It could be something I've done at the gym, but it also could be the fact that I might have slept funny. It's freezing here in the South Island of New Zealand right now. I'm probably whinging because it's like 5 degrees and I'm cold, but I'm actually walking around in this massive fluffy jumper, and I have got probably 6 electric shocks today from different things I've touched that this stupid fuzzy jumper has conducted, and I'm just standing there like, I'm not ready for this winter. And I know that our summer was so beautiful and we just had so much sun and the heat just came flying at us, but now it's like someone's just turned the heater off and it's freezing cold, and here's me just like, I've got a sore side and this fluffy jumper's giving me electric shocks all day. So roll on winter, it's coming and I'm not ready. Someone get the deep heat and some wheat bag or something for my shoulder. But no, I wanted to do a bit of a health and wellness podcast for my 5th podcast. I feel like it's a big part of, I feel like even though I've only done 4 podcasts, 3 by myself, 1 with a friend, it's kind of like therapy. And one of the things that I think, I have a really great friends and family following is about my health and wellness. And of course I love that. It's one of those things where I pride myself in so many things, but health for me, it's definitely been a journey. I could probably write a book, like a memoir. Is a memoir when you die or no? But my 5th podcast, I definitely wanted to touch on some health and wellness stuff that maybe people weren't aware of, that I've kept to myself, that kind of makes up Danny Dot in a sense. So hi to everyone, well and abroad. I actually haven't even looked at the dashboard as to who our new listeners from what country or whatever are tuning in from today. I actually need to totally make a disclaimer, because I've caught up with a couple of friends over the past fortnight, and a couple have said, I'm falling behind and listening to your podcast, and I don't actually know who's listened to it. You can kind of tell because certain things get brought up and people are like, she mentioned that and stuff like that in my small community. But it doesn't tell me who's listened to the podcast. It just tells you where in the world and what device they used. There's quite a lot of people that actually use home entertainment systems like Alexa. Is that Amazon? And I don't even know. Shows how technology inept I am. But yeah, I just wanted to make people aware, don't be fearful that I could tell that you didn't listen. That's not how this podcasting thing works. It's exactly the same as my social media, that I just throw it out into the universe and just walk away. So, I haven't looked at the dashboard. I don't know where the new listeners are. I don't even know if we've clicked over 3,000. I feel like when you start talking, say if my 4th one a week ago, more people listen to the first one than they listen to the 4th one. I get weekly emails from the actual dashboard provider that just say, you've gained audience members that have started from scratch, and they're going through 1, 2, and 3, and 4 podcasts, as opposed to people that pop on and just listen to Danny and Haley or just listen to my most recent one, which I feel like I rushed the last one. And it's really funny because I know that in my head I felt like I rushed it because I was holding the microphone, and I'm not fearful of public speaking, but in my brain I was just kind of switched on to thinking, it kind of felt like I was doing karaoke and I had to give the microphone back. So I had to hurry up and rush through the song, which wasn't the case. So I've got the microphone back on the stand and I'm just currently sitting in the living room. Mum's gone to Queenstown to do a few odd jobs. So I thought, here's a prime opportunity to just sit down after work. It's a Tuesday. It's 20 to 5. And just talk about health and stuff like that. And I think that this kind of next half hour, 45 minutes will actually entertain, but also give awareness. And maybe some people will take something away from this, or if you feel like you want to reach out and discuss anything more, or, you know, just whatever, I'm always around, and of course I'll always reply. So I actually did some massive brainstorming because it's a lot. So basically, I just sort of wanted to touch on that my first ever gym membership was Queenstown Gym circa 2012. A lady called Holly owned the Queenstown Gym and she was a nightmare. I don't know where she ended up or whatever like that. She announced the 12-week challenge and I had a gorgeous trainer. Like he was so strict, but so thorough, and just like he was on a mission in that 12 weeks to get me into shape. And I was like an out of control late 20s, just in a corporate job, working for Vodafone. I sort of felt like I needed some structure, but to me, that structure at the time didn't mean 6 a.m. stints at the gym. So my trainer quickly whipped me into shape. However, in the 10th week of that 12-week challenge, the gym went under. I don't know what happened. It shut the doors, went bankrupt, whatever. My trainer actually, I think he got deported or he left New Zealand. Holly hadn't been paying him, so he had to gap it. I didn't have closure on that 12-week challenge, which essentially, you know, does things to people, because I worked really hard and the prizes at the end I was so excited about. But at the start, when we had to give those like very vulnerable pre-workout photos, that's disgusting. Like, I don't even know where they ended up. And it makes me really like uncomfortable to know that I put myself out there and there was no ending to it. It was stupid. So that was probably like my first real gym membership where I had to like apply myself, and just, I didn't even really play with the gym machines. I just simply went in for the class with my trainer and that was it. He had me like outside of the gym running up and down, was it Stanley Street in Queenstown, the one that's like uphill, and running through town. Like by the end of it, I was feeling so good. But yeah, I don't know what happened, who won. Like no one won, it just ended. But I sort of got a taste for it. And then probably like, I don't know, 2 years after that, I moved to Sydney. And where I lived in Sydney was like way out west by Liverpool. But I was actually working in Maroubra, which is like south of the Sydney CBD, I suppose you could say. And so I used to travel an hour and a half each way on public transport, 2 trains and a bus each way, and had my little backpack on with all my gym gear, and I used to try and go to the gym before work. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, you were a nutter. It was a great gym. I didn't do any classes or anything. I just played with the equipment. I sort of had a trainer, but he decided that there was better things to look at in the gym than me. So I stopped paying him. And then, you know how gym trainers have those like schedules and they walk around with their wee clipboard or whatever and they take notes as to how many weights you picked up and all that shit. Well, I remember on my last day at the gym, I was so mad at him because I was paying him $45, $50 an hour and he wasn't spending any attention to me in that sort of time frame. I found my file in the filing cabinet and I wrote on it, this trainer's a piece of shit. He never watched me and looked out for me, and this gym's a joke. I'm out, bye. And then I just cancelled my automatic payments and stopped going. Oh, not proud of it. But So yeah, two gyms, two completely different situations. One with a trainer that absolutely like just had the best PT sessions with myself, and one that, I paid for his time, and I wasn't probably what like a Bondi girl looked like, so he didn't look out for me or whatever. I felt like I was in a position is how I felt. So yeah, I didn't really do too much, and like my health was sort of just coasting along. I didn't know about diets. I didn't know about, protein. I didn't know any of that stuff. No one taught me. Or calories in, calories out, all that kind of stuff. So fast forward a couple of years and, it's 2019 and I'm in Brisbane, living my best life. I'd actually didn't have a gym membership in Brisbane. My actual housing complex had a gym attached, and it was massive, and it was so air conditioned and clean. And for us as the residents of that area, it was so cool to have a gym on site. But the worst part about it was my apartment faced the gym, and sometimes I'd come home after work and I'd just be like, I have to go to the gym. I have to do something. I've been sitting down all day. And I still didn't go to the gym. So, and living in the city, I didn't cook. I used to keep my jumpers and jackets in the oven. I was very Carrie from Sex and the City. I just spent a lot of time out drinking and eating as opposed to working out and cooking at home. So, May 2019 is where everything sort of took a turn. And, if I could take it back, I wouldn't say I'd change anything, but I could probably make some better decisions. I took 6 international flights. So I flew, what was it? Brisbane, Queenstown, Queenstown, Brisbane, Brisbane, Bali, Bali, Brisbane, Brisbane, Darwin, Darwin, Brisbane. And when I was in Darwin, I absolutely have an obsession with Northern Territory. I'm hoping to get there this year. My leg was hurting, and I sat there at my cousin's accommodation in her house, and I was like crying. I was like, my leg is just really, really painful. Like that sort of your leg's cramping, but the muscle's not turning around. And we were going out to watch the V8 supercars, and I was just, putting a bit of a face on like, oh, everything's okay, but it clearly wasn't. I was taking heaps of paracetamol and aspirin because I was like, what has happened? My leg is broken. It's just like, it was not broken, but there's something not right. And then I get back to Brisbane, and it's sort of like 6 weeks later, and I've been to the doctor, and I had Bali belly, which didn't help the situation because I didn't treat the Bali belly very well when I was over in Bali. So that kind of still has symptoms that were just making a mess of my body. Bali belly is that little like butterfly, like Giardia water bug that they get in dirty water. I'm not saying I drank dirty water, but I just think maybe a couple of bottles of Bintang beer weren't sterilized maybe. So went to the doctor, and mind you, my doctor in Cannon Hill in Brisbane was in between a sex store, like where you buy, I don't know, sexual items. What do you even say? I don't even know. Is it like an intimate store? I don't know. Or a coffee shop. So half the time I'm like, what shop am I here to go in? No, it's the doctor. And so this doctor, is just one of those patient tick and flick kind of people. What do you want? I'll dispense it for you on your way. Not really a diagnosis. We used to go there for our weight loss pills from Las Vegas when I'd been there a couple of times, and you gain a bit of weight, so you go on that Duramine stuff, the pharmacy grade speed at over in Australia. It's $130 for a month's worth, and it keeps you up for 3 days, and it's stupid. Anyway, that's where you go to get free prescriptions of that. But yeah, so one morning, 6 weeks after that Darwin trip, I woke up and I had no feeling above my knee. There was no colour. It was just purple, not swollen, but like on its way, I think. And I'm sitting there at my desk at my house, and by this stage I'm finally working from home. They've actually let me work from home and trust me. And I had to ring in and say, hey, listen, I've got to go to the doctor. I haven't got any feeling above my knee. And I go into this little honky doctor's, and there's this little Asian fella, Dr. Jeffrey, and I think her name was Catherine on the desk there. And I was like, this isn't right. There's no colour above my leg and my knee. And he looks at my knee and he does a little bit of a measurement of my calf, and he's like, I think you've got a blood clot. And I feel like my whole world just sort of fell to shit, because not only had they diagnosed it, I had to take an ambulance to the general imaging place that, was going to confirm it. But it's one of those things that, yes, I lived alone in Brisbane, and yes, I didn't have a partner. I didn't have any support or like family that I could just call upon to be like, hey, I'm going to see the doctor, something's not right. I mean, everyone has lives. But to be sitting in a doctor's and being told something that was completely foreign, like I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know the severity of it. So to be put in an imaging room and they do all the thrombosis checks of your calf and see where it's clogging and why the blood's not going past your knee is bloody terrifying. So once it all got confirmed, and I rang mum and I said, I've got blood clots in my right leg. There's about several of them. I don't know what to do now, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I walked, and I don't know how. I think the body just turns into an adrenaline situation. I just walked from the hospital to my house, which was about 1 kilometre. I don't know why they sent an ambulance, but anyway. And then I sort of just like broke down. Like, I don't know what any of this means. Don't Google it. You don't want to know. And the weird thing is that I had to make my way to the pharmacy to get my blood thinners to start the whole healing process. And so I got myself together and I toddled on down to get the blood thinners. And mind you, the bestie at the time was like, I'm coming with you. I'll scooter over, like one of those Lime scooters. We'll go to the doctors together. We'll go to the hospital. We'll go to the pharmacy. I just went onto autopilot mode. Like, this is how I'm going to sort this out. So I made my way down to the pharmacy, and got the blood thinners. And the doctor had prescribed diazepam, and I couldn't work out why, because I was like, why do I need like that? I'm fine. But it actually was to deal with the anxiety that comes with that weird diagnosis of blood medication, I think. And so Mum decided to book a flight and come over because I was just having a complete freak out. Like, I don't know what this means. Am I going to die? Do I have cancer? Like, there was just so many things. And so we rang up 1300 Health that night. It's a free health line, and I was just asking, can I take blood thinners with wine? Because, like, it's fight or flight, is it not? When you feel like, oh, how am I going to cope with something? I just need to have a glass of wine, or I need to concentrate on, like, calling friends and family. For me, I just panicked, and me and my bestie even had a deal that because I lived in a high-rise apartment and I had blood clots, if one of those blood clots detached and came up to my brain, it could kill me very quickly, or even my heart. So we had a deal that if anything sort of happened and I felt a little bit off whilst I had started this blood thinner medication, which it could happen, if he received a exclamation point as a text message, that meant to get an ambulance to me because I need help. Because at the end of the day, like, it would happen very fast. And I've definitely got friends and family that suffer from this as well. The stress of when you live in a compound environment where it's hard to get access into, it was terrible. And so I was really struggling with everything. And not only did the medication make me really cold, but I felt really like dazed and confused, and I wasn't awake. I was just, I don't know, coasting along. So June 2019, when I had that blood clot whole thing and I wasn't allowed to drink alcohol for 6 weeks and I just had to like take it real easy was the scariest 6 weeks, because every little twinge, like I felt chest pains. I thought that there was a blood clot in my lung. I felt cold. I thought like my body was rejecting the medication. I ended up back in the doctors where they did that imaging test where they put the dye in you and it makes you feel like you've pissed yourself, just for them to make sure that like the blood clots weren't in my lungs. And it was awful. But the best part about it was like in October, I had a goal, and the goal was to get sorted so that I could make a flight to make the besties, one of my besties, who was getting married in Dunedin, and I had to get back for that wedding, but I had to fly, and you can't fly when you get diagnosed with blood clots for 10 to 12 weeks, because of that's a danger. Like if you're, airborne and something happens, I'd hate to be someone that dies on a plane, because, that's sad. So I was scared out of my brain. I didn't know what was going to happen. Mum was on her way. I wasn't leaving the house. I was freaking out about everything. We had a plan though, and that was the main thing. So, and because the blood clot was unprovoked, it was 6 flights and dehydration and potentially my contraceptive, which we've since figured out. I was like one of those high risk people, and I had to like really sort my shit out health-wise. So I started doing like laps 2 or 3 times a day, just walking around my suburb in Australia basically, and just sort of like making those little bit extra efforts. And I actually couldn't afford to diet. I know that sounds really silly, but I tried to be keto. And it's one of those things where if you're not educated, keto is not the best thing to do, because it's a lot of like figuring out, just with any diet. But I actually couldn't afford the keto food, and at the time I was like, I'll just substitute almond flour for real flour to be fine. Well, no, that's not how that works. So I got myself a little bit sorted, and I was a little bit more active, and I think 6 weeks, no alcohol, like no socializing, just head down, bum up, getting myself sorted, kind of turned a wee bit of a corner, because I was able to fly to Dunedin for my friend's wedding, which was super important, and I came off blood thinners in December 2019. Super excited. I was like, okay, well that, 6 months is out of my life now. I don't have to worry about that. I just need to be more careful. I actually obviously have a blood condition here and I don't know how to manage it. So by November 2019, I'd actually moved back to New Zealand pre-pandemic. So I was like, it's throwing the towel in. It's, it's been pretty scary in those last 6 months, and I don't want to be away from my family. My mum was like freaking out. My brother was just like not impressed. So I moved back to New Zealand, and I came to Cromwell. And I already had in my mind that I was like, okay, I don't know anyone in Cromwell. I don't have any reason to be social. I can just, do something for me and have like a bit of a health and happiness, wellness journey, rah, rah, rah. So I actually put on my Facebook in January 2020 that if I lost 40 kilos, I would take a friend to Hawaii. Obviously, everyone jumped up and down and got so excited, because I feel like my social media, more people get excited about me being healthy than they do about me partying. And that's the honest truth. It's so funny. There's more comments if I do something wild at the gym than if I don't know, meet someone famous on a pissed night out. So we started with the whole like what would work for me, and I joined a little bumpkin gym, and I thought, oh yeah, this will be great because there's barely anyone around. You don't have to fight with anyone for a machine. I'm just going to slowly work my way around the gym and stuff. I didn't know the owners. I was just, there on the odd occasion. I had a friend in Ashburton who had started keto the year before, and she had massive success with it. And I was thinking, okay. Like, I'm back at home. I've got the income to be just, sorting out my food. I could do this keto thing. It's super simple. And if my friend in Ashburton is smashing goals with keto, I can certainly do this, because if you're in the country where someone is specializing in a certain diet, I mean, don't mimic it, but at the same time, like, you can obviously buy the same food and follow the same track. And it's kind of one of those things. So I started like doing this keto diet that I thought, this is crazy, and my mind was still like not 100% on the diet bandwagon. I remember being like 5 weeks into it and craving like KFC chicken and wedges, and I was just thinking, oh, you're ripping yourself here, Danny. You can't keep cutting corners. Because essentially with keto, it takes your body like a week or so, like it can take less, to actually fall into ketosis. So when all this was going on and I was navigating this crazy diet and everything else, we went into isolation because of the pandemic, and still didn't have any friends. Now I don't even have a gym because the gym had to close. So we started walking around the streets of Cromwell and just sort of like exploring, seeing where all the fruit was, the cherry farms, all those kinds of things. And just, it was the first time in my actual life where I actually like just really was outside, because I feel like my other failed attempts of being inside a gym just didn't go well, and I could actually just enjoy being outside, which is crazy because look at where I live. So of course I should be outside. But then I had this massive success with it in 2020 where I lost 40 kilos and I smashed the 12-week challenge that happened in our gym, maybe August 2020. It was so funny. They did a 12-week challenge and it was $150. And when they told me how much it was, I cracked up laughing and I asked if it was per week, because Brisbane and Sydney, where I had, Queenstown and Sydney, where I had gym memberships, they were like super expensive, and you had a trainer and it was da-da-da-da-da. But this cute gym in Cromwell, $150 for 12 weeks of personalized training and everything else. Of course it was going to be successful. The trainers, however, were not impressed with the keto thing. And they kind of turned my mind that you don't need to limit foods and fast, like go without food for a meal or whatever. So, I smashed it. Collectively, me and 3 others lost 50 kilos in that 12-week challenge. I was feeling really good. I was the thinnest I'd ever been in my whole life after I lost that 40 kilos. And I was so happy. I just thought, holy shit, I'm the best version of myself right now. And then 2021, it's starting to come around again. The world's starting to open up. We can explore and everything else. No. The body, I don't know what happened, shut down, freaked out, and I was back on blood thinners May 2021. And I just was so mad at just how this could happen. I had got myself sorted health-wise. I wasn't overweight. I was just, the best version I could be. And hey, the body still put me back on blood thinners. At this stage, because it's an unprovoked blood clot, I'm on blood thinners for life. And it's annoying because when you have blood thinners, you bruise heaps. Your body, just like anything that impacts you in the slightest, you bruise. And so the doctor always says to me, you shouldn't drink on blood thinners. I get that. But I, touch wood, don't actually have drunk injuries. I bang into things at the gym. I bang into the coffee table at home. Hell, I fell off the stepper in my garage 2 weeks ago. I have a bruise on my calf the size of Africa, the continent, and it's disgusting. So that sort of annoys me. That's the most worst part about blood thinners. It's not the medication, which I'm only on 1 tablet a day. It's just what it does and how it smushes everything inside. It's gross. So, it's all turned to custard by about May 2021. These blood thinners are taken over my life. March last year, I actually had a complete mental breakdown. I collapsed in the hallway of the house and just decided that, I am not coping. I'm not coping with the fact that My whole body is just rejecting medication at this stage and just like doesn't want a bar of, me being able to be me. And I feel like my motivation's going out the window. I don't want to do the gym thing anymore. I have got this great group of friends that just, want to catch up and eat and drink. And we eat this amazing, like, local food around here, like cheese boards, and drink fabulous wine. Like, yeah, the mental breakdown was just, my actual doctor told me it was coming. She knew it. And I just thought, no, that's fine. It happened, and I was a bit of a mess for about 5 weeks. But yeah, I feel like I've come right now. But motivation to do everything that I sort of did in 2020 health and fitness wise is just not there anymore. So I'm sort of trying to pick up the pieces now, and like it's hard because we've all been in this pandemic situation where everyone's had to sit still, and people have become complacent and very like sedentary. So it's hard when you used to have this motivation. I don't know if it was actually when I first got back from New Zealand, from Australia, starting out on keto, and it was all exciting, like how's something going to taste? I feel like when I first got to Australia, I was catfished by food a lot. I actually didn't really have much of a diet in Australia, because when you think something's going to taste like something and you're used to it, and then the reality of what actually gets presented to you is another thing, you turn off. You're like, nah, I'm not going to put myself through that again. So I'm not sure about the keto thing, because every time I try and eat like that and just use alternate methods when it comes to like, how can I explain it? Cooking, I just can't. It doesn't bring me joy. And that's why when I got a nutritionist / like dietitian, I had to sort of like just offload a little bit. And offloading in a sense where I would say I need to be like happy. And what makes me happy is catching up with friends and enjoying like food and stuff. Like I'm such a foodie. I will see a TikTok once and then make it. And mum's like, holy crap, like you actually did that. So there is literally nothing about doing what I did in 2020 that excites me. I was miserable. I didn't have friends. I relied heavily on the trainers at the gym. And now I have friends. I have a shit diet. No, that's a lie. I actually don't eat. And a lot of people have like pulled me up on it, because Monday to Friday, because I work from home, I got into this massive thing where I could fast and like skip breakfast completely. Like I could stop eating at 6 o'clock in the night and start again 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But my dietitian has decided that my body has stalled and I'm not getting enough nutrients. My body thinks that it's like survival mode and I need to like eat more. So this week actually I've been eating breakfast, and that's really crazy for me. So what makes you healthy? Is it a weight guideline thing? Like, are we meant to just sort of see things on social media and whatnot that we're supposed to expect that that's what makes people healthy? Is it like an app or something that tells you when you come down from being like overweight, obese, that you're actually in like your normal range for your height and weight structure, that's healthy? Like, is 10,000 steps a day, is that healthy? Because I mean, I wear the fitness trackers and everything, and I do all the bits and pieces at the gym, and I still don't go near 6,000 steps. Or is it calorie deficits and diets? Do people like eat in a deficit so that they do have that weight loss? I don't even know. Like, I don't know what makes you healthy anymore. I'm so confused and lost, I suppose. I'm 6'3" and I've got a stature of the baby giraffe. I'm not lean and long, but I'm definitely curvy, kind of like, I'd say a baby elephant. No, I don't know why I say baby. I just, it makes me laugh. is there a misconception around how fat people and how they must enjoy food? I mean, my friends and I absolutely just love catching up. And we have dinner at the pub almost monthly, like if not more than monthly. My metabolism is that of an old man. I honestly, I don't even really want to touch on this, but I actually did a 4-day egg fast where I only ate eggs for 4 days. If Mum was here, she'd actually flinch because it was traumatic. I think I was averaging on like 6 to 8 eggs a day. And it was what you did with those eggs. If you like scrambled them, you ate them like boiled, you had them with like QP mayonnaise. Yeah. I lost like 3 kilos in those 4 days, but I don't know where it went because that was not something I would recommend. But that's something that they do on keto, is it's all about fasting and lots of good fats and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not where we're at the minute. The other half of this is also the support in my friend group, the network that I have. No one ever says to me like I'm overweight or I need to like, not be social or make better choices. Like my friends and family just take me for me. And I'm sorry, I'm just moving the coffee table. It's just one of those things that if someone actually said to me, hey, you probably could, I don't know, geez, I don't think anyone would ever say to you, you need to put that cracker down. But if someone actually said to me, hey, you'd probably like, I don't know, look after yourself more if you lost 10 kilos, it sort of raises doubts. Like, I have seen myself 40 kilos lighter. I actually did a lot of things when I lost a lot of weight and I went blonde. So when I think of myself as 40 kilos lighter, I think of myself as the blonde Danny that didn't have any friends, did all the things, but didn't have a social circle. And that makes me sad because I spent a lot of money and I didn't have like anyone to show. I mean, it was crazy. I was so desperate for friends and I was in the prime of my like 30s. I didn't have anyone to show it off. So now I have all the friends and all the support and I just can't get back to that. I don't know. It's okay though. Like my friends love me for me and that's the main thing. It is sort of a bit of a soft point though because I don't know. I feel like we all just sort of go in limbo and just wait for the next opportunity to catch up. And I would live with these girls if I could. They're so much fun. I know that I can do better though, and I will be the best version of myself. And who knows what that looks like. But I'm not unhappy, and I don't think you should look at someone as being overweight as unhappy. They probably might have great entertainment sort of ideas where they cook TikToks, they don't read calories or anything like that. They just have fun, and that's exactly me. Like, I don't eat much during the week. I eat heaps on the weekend when I'm being social, and yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. But again, for me this year, I'm sort of trying to curve that a little bit, and sometimes goals are the best directive. I have my cousin's wedding this year, and I know that that's going to be a massive photo opportunity because she is going to be absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And I don't want to be like unhealthy and, oh, don't take my photo, I'm feeling like yuck. No. So I'm trying to sort myself out, and I've been upping a lot of things, and I've been lifting weights, which is probably why my side is sore. But yeah, bit of an understanding for everyone as to where I'm at with health and wellness and how everything started and why everything sort of was so successful in some ways, and in other ways it wasn't. It's just, that's what happens with me. And I've done like couch to 5Ks. I've set myself goals and I've smashed them. The thing is I do them and then I get bored. It's not for lack of trying, just like my dating life. It's not for lack of trying. So let me know what you think. Where am I going wrong? I don't think I'm going wrong. I just think I could do things better. And if anyone has any like friends that are personal trainers or someone that, would be able to kick me into line a little bit more and smash it out the park when I see my cousin in a couple of months, that would be great, because the best opportunities are the ones when you're in another country and you get to catch up with people after a time period and actually look really good for yourself. So I'm using this time to get my ducks in a row and sort myself out so that it's not like, I fell off the gym wagon in any sort of sense. I don't want that to be the outcome here. I was going to bring a guest on this pod, but that person had different ideas. So I don't know why they thought this was a thing, but they expected payment of being in my podcast with kisses, but they are married. And I put the anchors down and I said, no. I am not going to have you on my podcast. We're not entertaining anything like that. I'm not going to be letting that happen. So you got myself today, and we got to talk about health and wellness and fitness and everything else. I might have someone on the next podcast, but I didn't want anyone to feel like because that didn't work out with that person that they were the fill-in. So I will put the feelers out, see who's around Cromwell, and if anyone wants to come and have a chat with me, I'm all ears, just not that person that was naughty. And yeah, I'm still looking for ideas onto what I should do for my birthday coming up. That's freaking me out. And the more I think about it, the more I run in the other direction. I'm not so much going international anymore. We've reined it in. We're not going to go to Hawaii and find Jason Momoa. I don't know. Should I do something? Should I wait till 37? No, I feel like I have a lot to celebrate and I have really great friends here, so I should do something. I'm just being a bit coy, a bit tame. So yeah, who wants to come on the next pod? What should I do for my 36th? What did you think of this podcast? How's everyone going with this year in general? I get my first pay tomorrow. That's the new pay with my new role, and I'm kind of excited. I don't even know what my pay slip looks like. So if you see me down at the pub this weekend, you know what's happened, because I actually didn't go to the pub last Saturday. I decided it was going to be a quiet weekend and I went home. I am a good Danny. Anyway, till next time, guys. 42 minutes, 57 seconds. Smashed it. Yeah, love you heaps. I'll see you all soon.